We're going. What's up? Welcome back to another video. Just got done at the gym. A little arm check. I had shoulders and forearms today. So I really just like cranked my shit in the bathroom for like 48 minutes. Nah, I'm just kidding. But we have another video and I didn't miss a day. And I said yesterday that my buddy might be here, but he was busy, so he didn't lift with me today. But nevertheless, we're here. We have another video. And the topic for today is actually kind of based off something that just came out that Trump announced about how Tylenol causes autism in babies if pregnant mothers take it, which already a pretty bold claim to be making. The fact that the president is making it gives it a little bit of legitimacy, but yeah, it got me thinking about causes of autism and what autism really is. And so the topic for today's video is why autism isn't caused by Tylenol, but by some other factors, and what autism really is, and what I think it is, at least. So autism is, obviously, people know what autism is. You know what autism is, you've heard of it. But in recent history, the definition of autism is pretty skewed. Like, a lot of people claim, oh, it's my autism, oh, I'm autistic, when, you know, for the most part, 90% of the time it's hyperbole and people aren't being serious. But real autism is like a spectrum, and like people can be on a spectrum of autism. And there's just certain things, like certain tendencies that people will have that are like autistic traits. And I think it's really interesting because there's not really like a textbook definition of what autism is. It seems more so like you either like you have a certain amount of it, which is interesting to me. And it feels like I'm gonna give a little brief story about my personal experience, because I think I probably used to have autism, which sounds weird. What do you mean you used to have it? Whenever I was a kid, I hated loud noises. One, super autistic trait. I could not stand loud noises. And I was super emotional. And I couldn't really handle failure very well. So like, for example, whenever I played baseball as a kid, if I struck out, I would quite literally start crying and go back to the dugout every single time. And that's just one example. I was a super emotional kid. I would cry over anything. Also an autistic trait, just to be super emotional about little things. But what I kind of put two and two together is the people in my generation were the first to grow up actively with the internet at a high level. Like, the generation before us, they had the internet, but it wasn't what it is now. And I noticed a lot of stuff. This is all like theory. This is all me just guessing. But I noticed that for our generation specifically, there's a unprecedented amount of gay people, an unprecedented amount of, or not just gay, but LGBTQ plus in general, school shooters, white supremacists, all kinds of shit that back in the day was super taboo and never happened. That shit didn't happen. And I realize it's because of the internet. And I promise this coincides with my autism claim. But think about it. Back in the day, so let's say you lived in your town. You only had immediate access to those people. You could only talk to the people in your town. You were very limited. And let's say back then you had these thoughts to be a school shooter. You wanted to shoot people. You wanted to kill people. And if you voiced that opinion whatsoever to anybody in your town, they are gonna reprimand you and be like, you're a fucking idiot. What's wrong with you? You're disgusting. And, you know, as they should. That's a fucking disgusting thing to do. And so it didn't happen as much. But Nowadays, with the internet, you have access to quite literally every person on the planet at any given time. And what that means is you can create an echo chamber for any idea you have. And if you don't know what an echo chamber is, it's just whenever you find someone to basically be a yes man for you and tell you that your opinions are valid. So let's say nowadays you're a kid and you have thoughts of shooting up a school and killing people. You can go on the internet and find someone just like you who will reinforce those ideas and make you feel like, you know what, I am vindicated. I do need to do this. I feel like I am meant to do this. And that is a 100% result of the internet, because that was impossible before the internet. It couldn't happen. You couldn't, like, it could. If you were really lucky and some kid in your town also wanted to shoot up the school, I'm just using that as an example. It can be another gay kid in your town. But anything of that sort, any idea you could have that's like taboo, I guess, back then there was a very low chance that there was someone else you could relate with. So stuff like that was kind of pushed to the side and, you know, it wasn't reinforced. But now it's not even just reinforced, it is como se dice, fuck. Sorry, I had to fucking understand my thoughts. It's encouraged. So now you go on the internet, it's like, oh, you're gay. Oh, it's not that bad to shoot up a school. Even going as far as people on the internet saying the word like grape instead of rape, that's, in all honesty, glorifying rape and making it sound not as bad as it is, which is fucking awful. But this is where the autistic thing comes back. So I kind of grew up with the internet, but I wasn't active on the internet. I used the internet, but I didn't communicate with people ever. I was like super antisocial when it came to the internet, also in person. But because I never had any reinforcement towards these like ideas I had about like, oh, I hate these loud noises, oh, I'm scared to talk to people, my anxiety, I never had any reinforcement. I just had people saying, dude, just be normal. And you know what happened? I became normal. I can talk to people now. I am not fucking scared of loud noises. I don't cry about stupid shit anymore. And just based on my personal experience, it seems like a lot of these autistic traits are initially you initially have them, but you can get over it. There's a lot of stuff like that that is not hardwired into you. You can quite literally work your way through it and become a, like, I guess, normal person that wouldn't be classified as autistic. And I mean, I guess if you're watching this, if you truly think I'm autistic, you can leave a comment. But yeah, it's just like, from my personal experience, without that reinforcement, I forced me to become a more normal person, and I am infinitely in debt to all the people around me because of that. Because if I was still the same person I was, I would have never had any girls like me. I would have never made friends. I would have just sat in my room all day playing video games. And that is truly scary to think about. And I would have been weird. I would have probably turned out way worse. I would have had these ideas reinforced in my brain, like, oh, it's okay to be autistic, it's okay to have these traits, it's okay to be fucking weird and not be able to do shit because you have autism. Like, no, you're autistic, you can't. It's just such a limiting mentality. Just because you have some of those traits doesn't mean you can't get over it. And that's not to say that, like, people with severe autism, that's completely different. I'm talking about the, like, autism that is spread now in our generation, of people being like, oh no, that's my autism, I'm autistic, sorry. It's like, no, you just have these fucking ideas reinforced from when you're a kid, and now you have an insane victim mentality because you're told you have this thing. It's the same idea for people that have like ADD or ADHD. fucking, if you're told your entire life that you can't focus and that you need this drug to focus, you're never gonna fucking focus. But if you have someone telling you, hey, quit fucking being a dickhead and focus. Like, I don't give a fuck if you have ADHD. Figure it out. You know what's gonna happen to that person eventually? They're gonna fucking figure it out. Like, I don't see why these ideas are so reinforced and everybody has such a victim mentality towards these things. It's like, no, I can't do it. There's this thing wrong with me. Motherfucker, there's nothing wrong with you. A majority of people, there is such a small percent of the population that legitimately has something wrong. And I have respect for them. This is not directed towards them. This is directed towards people that have a bitch-made little victim mentality that won't even begin to comprehend the idea of that they don't have to be a victim. They could be normal. But yeah, that's just my interpretation of things based on my personal experience, based on how I used to be, the emotions I used to feel, how, you know, I used to be as a kid. And I don't see why other people can't do that. I mean, I think they have. I think some people could relate with this video because, you know, I knew some other weird kids that turned out great. And I think that is a product of where I'm from, which is very traditional, very small town, old school. They don't give a fuck if there's something wrong with you, get over it, which I'm so happy that I got that experience as opposed to, oh no, it's okay, you have autism, you can't do it. What the fuck? That's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, if you feel like you have something wrong with you, or that maybe you feel like people are telling you there's something wrong with you and there really isn't, really reflect on, hey, is this hardwired into me, or could I fix this? And I'll leave it on that note, but thank y'all for watching. Leave a comment if you want me to talk about a certain topic, but I will talk to y'all later.